Here's today's developer's question. We found a residential development site with planning permission and the appraisals look good. Should we buy it? It's a question we are asked very often, and it's also the point where developers can either make one of their best investments or one of their biggest mistakes. Hello, I'm Victor Rohacs, and we help residential developers maximize development value by identifying hidden opportunities, reducing risks, and making projects easier to build. We are architects, and we are called Rohacs Architects. Over the past 8 years, we reviewed dozens of development opportunities across London and the Southeast, ranging from small infill sites to large apartment developments, and also office to residential conversions and airspace schemes. One thing we've learned is this: the most profitable projects often are not the ones with the best planning permissions. They are the ones where somebody asked the right questions right before exchanging contracts. Today, I'd like to share how we think when we review a development opportunity. The first thing we'd like to challenge is a very common assumption. And many people believe that once planning permission has been granted, most of the hard work has already been done. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Planning permission reduces planning risk. It does not guarantee that a scheme complies with building regulations. It doesn't confirm it's buildable. It doesn't tell you whether its construction costs have been properly considered. And it certainly doesn't tell you whether the scheme is the best commercial solution for you. Planning approval is an important milestone, but it isn't the finish line. When someone sends us a consented scheme, the first thing we'll look at are not the CGIs, it's not the apartment layouts, and it's not the planning case officer's report. The first thing we ask is, what assumptions is this project relying on? Because every development relies on certain assumptions, like perhaps the existing stairs can remain, perhaps the structure is adequate, perhaps the layout won't need changing, perhaps the external walls will comply. And our job is to test those assumptions before they become expensive surprises. The next question is equally important. Can this scheme perform better? Not by making it bigger, not by buying more land, but simply making better design decisions. We reviewed schemes where relatively modest layout changes created significant increases in development value. In one project, we upgraded 24 one-bedroom apartments into 2 bedrooms without changing the approved building envelope, and thus we increased the development value by approximately £1 million. On another project, we managed to completely design out the basement whilst keeping the same unit mix, saving our client hundreds of thousands in build costs. Those opportunities only existed because someone challenged the approved design instead of accepting it as a finished solution. Every project has one or two issues that have the potential to challenge the financial outcome dramatically. Sometimes it's the fire strategy, sometimes it's the need for additional escape stairs, smoke ventilation, or evacuation lifts, or higher risk building requirements. Sometimes it's structural limitations, or it's the discovery that approved layouts lose valuable sellable area once building regulations are properly considered. None of these issues necessarily make a project unviable, but they do need to be understood before you commit to buying the site. By the end of a review, we want clear answers to a handful of questions. Can the scheme actually be built? Does it comply with current technical requirements? Can the layout be improved? Is there hidden development value somewhere? Are there program risks that haven't yet been identified? And perhaps the most important question of all, knowing everything we know now, would we still buy this site? If the answer is yes, our client can proceed with much greater confidence. And if the answer is no, walking away before exchange is often the cheapest decision they ever make. Buying a development site is one of the biggest financial decisions of a development. The cost of a thorough technical review before exchange is usually tiny compared to the cost of discovering fundamental issues after you completed the purchase. So if you're considering buying a residential development site and you like an independent review before committing, we'd be delighted to help. I'm Victor Rohacs from Rohacs Architects. I hope you found this video interesting, and although we made all reasonable efforts to make sure that the information in this video is accurate at the release of time, it's intended for education purposes only, so please do not treat this as professional advice. Make sure you consult a professional about your own project. Thank you for watching, and remember, approved doesn't mean optimized. Thank you.